Well, good
All
evening.
right.
Thank you for being here. Dan, we got you.
Yeah,
with,
thank you, Adrian. Thanks, everybody. I got your little intro here. So I've known Adrian for, I don't know, several years now. He's our speaker tonight, and he started investing in 2002 because he was being evicted. Adrian not only has a successful real estate business, but he is also a best-selling author and a national speaker. He's done everything from single family rehabbing, wholesaling, to vacant land, to mobile homes, you name it. Yet 95% of his business model is centered around buying mobile homes. Today, Adrian is going to teach you some of the techniques he uses in his own business, which a year per mobile home for the rest of his life, even in today's market, all without needing any of his own money or credit. He knows his stuff, and what he says works. So get ready to take lots of notes. Let's give a welcome to Adrian. Thanks, Adrian, for that.
Appreciate it, Dan. Thank you for having me tonight. We'll get started. Hopefully, I'm not as choppy as Dan is. I think I have a little bit better Wi-Fi going on where I'm at right now. For those that are going to be watching the recording, you still want to interact. So if I ask a question, maybe just answer it out loud to yourself or still take notes. It may sound a little silly, but when you do that, you take in a lot more of the information, and then you're able to take action a little bit better whenever we just the process of taking notes and saying something back out loud. So I'm going to get started. I want to start out with my mission of Lifestyle REI. It's got 3 pieces to it. First of all, it is to bring sunshine and joy into your life and business. It's also where I'm teaching and educating from my hard experiences, meaning my challenges as I've been going, my successes, and then also it's my way of passing on what my mentors taught me. And third, it is my platform. I have friends that run successful real estate businesses. They can come in, teach, and then go back and do what they love to do. So let's get started with this very important question. Why would you sell a nice home like this? If you don't know who asked this question, the guy's name is Peter Fortunato. It's one of my mentors, and he always asks this question, and we all should, because that is how we can truly help people. If we don't know why they're really selling, we're not able to structure the solution the right way. So why would I sell a nice home like this? It appraised for about $200,000. It had good bank financing on it. And most importantly, it cash flowed. So why would I sell a nice home like this? Well, I'm going to give it away. It is for mobile homes, because that's the topic for tonight. I did a 1031 exchange. The short on what a 1031 exchange is I deferred paying the taxes to a later date. And I bought these 7 mobile homes with the dirt. So home and land together, one single real estate transaction. I did these 7. I paid $174,000 for all 7 of them. Quick math tells you I took some of that money and spent it, because I believe in enjoying the journey as we go through. I did have a short time frame that I just snowballed, meaning I took all my profits and threw it back into the business over and over again. But I don't want you to get caught up in that for too long, because we should enjoy the journey and enjoy what we've built. I just encourage you to do that. I take some of the money out pretty much all the time, and this is what I live off of now. This is how I eat. This is how I travel. Everything I do comes from my real estate. The next, we had to put some repairs into these homes, and I put $50,000 into all 7, not to 1, not to 2, all 7 of those cost me $50,000 to repair. But the real reason that I sold that one house to buy these 7 is the new net cash flow of $3,300 a month. So I ask you, would you rather have $4,600 a year or almost $40,000 a year? I think it's a no-brainer. We would rather have 857% more cash flow. I was at Milwaukee Re a few weeks ago, and I finished my presentation, and a guy came up to me afterwards, and he said, it would take me $1.5 million of leveraged property to get the same cash flow. So what did I take from that? We can do this with a lot less dollars. If we can do this with less dollars, we can get to our goals faster. And then we can do whatever we want. I think most of us are still going to continue building our real estate, but we still can get to our base goals that we can get this freedom. We'll touch on that a little bit later. I want to talk about my journey, how I got here, and then I'm going to go through some more information about mobile homes. I'm going to tell you the 3 different ways to invest in mobile homes and give you some key items to look for. We're going to wrap it all up into a case study. And then if you wanted more information, I'm going to give you how you can get 2 full days of information on mobile homes. So how did I get here today on actually educating? Well, I grew up in a small town called Plant City, Florida. So that's in Central Florida between Tampa and Orlando. And we are the winter strawberry capital of the world. When I was growing up, it's a pretty small town. Most places I speak, I get to say it's a pretty small town. We didn't even have a Walmart within 30 minutes. I know some areas up there, you think that, well, you have one that close? But around me and in Florida, 30 minutes not having a Walmart was crazy. And especially in today. Now I think I have 4 Walmarts within 30 minutes. And anyway, so I grew up in a small town. Parents that love me. I think all parents want to give their kids the dream childhood. And I feel like we had a great childhood. We weren't spoiled, but we had a lot of great things. Well, one night, I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I heard some really loud voices coming from my parents' bedroom. So I started crawling on the carpet quietly because, I don't know, for some reason when you're a kid, you crawl quieter than you walk. Anyways, I get over to their big brown door. I start listening. And the conversation wasn't good. It was about money. And later I found out we had a stack of credit cards like this that were maxed out. I told you, my parents gave us a great childhood. They didn't let us know the stress of money that was going on until one night at dinner, they told us that we are filing for bankruptcy. Now, this was very embarrassing. We weren't allowed to tell anyone. Still to this day, my mom does not say the word bankruptcy. She says the word VB. That's what she calls it. Well, why is this? It's because my parents brought us up with very high integrity. And if we said we were paying those credit cards, we were supposed to do it. So we broke our integrity. Now, like it or not, life's going to go on. And it did. I moved out shortly after turning 18, and I stayed local, moved in with some friends into a rental. And the short story there is we were really bad tenants. Like, here's a few of my eviction notices. Oops, sorry. There we go. Here's a few of my eviction notices. These eviction notices are for spaghetti wrestling parties, mud wrestling parties, pudding wrestling parties, parking the motorcycle in the living room. Essentially, we were terrible tenants. You do not rent to 20-year-old Adrian. Now, Larry, I hope you're sitting down for this, because the reason my friend was parking the motorcycle in the living room. Is remember, we're in Central Florida now, okay? And I'm not sure if you've been down here in the winter, but it gets really cold in the winter. And my friend did not want to wait for his motorcycle to warm up. I'm not joking. That is his legit reasoning for parking the motorcycle in the living room, because he did not want to wait for our cold Florida winter mornings for it to warm up. Look, because we got evicted though, I bought a house. I'm a problem solver. So I bought this house. I moved the same friends in that helped me get evicted. Of course, that was part of the problem, but I moved them in. And what did I do? I took my mortgage payment and I divided up amongst my friends. So they paid my mortgage. And I lived for free. And I was like, this is really cool. I could get used to this. So I bought another house. But that house, I was losing a tiny bit every month. But I was told by the banks, don't worry, real estate goes straight up. You'll refinance in a few years. Well, that didn't work because I essentially bought at the top of the market. And the value of my home started going down. And did I mention I had an adjustable rate mortgage? So my actual mortgage payment started going up. So I started losing a little bit more every month. And eventually I gave up. I gave the house up as a short sale. It was a ding to my ego, a ding to my credit, but it was embarrassing. The same feelings came back from the bankruptcy because I compromised my integrity. At the same time, I hadn't worked in 6 months. I was in marketing, and big businesses cut marketing pretty quick when we're in a recession. So I didn't work for 6 months. I lost the house at a short sale, but I didn't lose this house that you see on the screen. And that's when I realized the power of real estate. You see, I bought this house right. I was renting it right. And I didn't lose it because my tenants, my friends, were paying my mortgage. And that was such a powerful moment to realize all that. So then I ended up at a RIA, so Real Estate Investors Club, so similar to this. And I fell in love with the education, the speakers like myself, and then the networking. I love the networking at groups. I wish I was there in a person one instead of here on Zoom, but it works better for travel life. That's though where I found out about mobile homes. So I bought my first mobile home. So let me tell you how I found this mobile home and story of it. I met a girl at the RIA, Jessica, and Jessica said, you know, my broker has someone that needs to sell their mobile home. Do you want to come see it? I said, sure. Well, I didn't have any real education on mobile homes. I didn't know much, but I was very uncomfortable being comfortable. Let me explain what I mean by that. I had a pretty decent life, lived in a nice house, good area, but I was frustrated. I wanted more time. I wanted more money. I wanted better returns than I was getting in the single family space. So I let my frustration push me to buy this home. I spent most of the rest of my savings, $16,000 on the home. It's 1965. I put a for rent sign in the yard and rent it for $475 a month. You don't need to get through your calculator to realize $475 a month on a $16,000 investment is pretty good. It's good enough. What did I do next? I bought a few more mobile homes. I realized I stumbled into a gold mine. And so today's business is I buy and rent single unit mobile homes with the land. That is my main business. I'm going to go through different ways to invest in, but that is what I like the best. Word kind of got out locally about what I was doing because no one was really doing this, at least talking about it. So then I wrote a book in a way to get more information out there faster. But what is real estate, the mobile homes with the dirt? What has it really done for me? It's given me the freedom to be where I want, when I want, with who I want. And I want you to take out of tonight that you as well can have the freedom to be where you want, when you want, with who you want. I think that's really what a lot of us are after. That's what the real estate, our widget, actually does for us. That's what my mobile homes do for me. And they do it for me faster than I could with the site built homes. So let's get into some mobile homes. Normally here I ask a question, and Larry, if you want to participate, just unmute and yell it out. Which one here is a trailer? Which is the mobile home? And which is the manufactured home?
Well, if I look at it, just looking at the back end of the first one, but really trailers, manufactured home, mobile homes, they're all the same thing. Other than, want to do a camper, that's something different.
Yeah. So this is kind of a trick question. There is a technical years and different things for that. But the trick question here is because when I am buying, they are all trailers. I don't care if it's a 2022. I'm going to call it a trailer because the word sounds cheaper and it sounds like it's bringing it down. And if I'm going to sell or lease it, it's going to be a manufactured home because it builds it up and makes it sound manufactured. Yeah. So it's the importance of using the right words at the right time because our words really matter. So it's just a fun little, when I have a big group, I get people making all these different guesses, and it's a fun piece here, but also to make sure you understand that our words matter so much. Not just in real estate, we can go into personal life, it needs to matter too, but that's a different topic, different day. Let's go into the 3 different types of ways you can invest in mobile homes. First, we can buy just the tin can, so only the home. We do not own the land. We pay someone every month to park the home there. It's typically lot rent. Sometimes it's called space rent. Now, these are going to be your cheapest way to get in. These are recession resistant and really good ROI, return on investment. However, I don't particularly like the fact that there's that lot rent. It's like a mortgage payment that never goes away and it keeps going up every year. The other thing I didn't love very much about these is I lost control. When the manager makes all the rules or the owner, you lose a little bit of control. I'll tell you a little story. I own 2 of these in the same park. And then on April 5th, I got an email from the park manager and it said, by the end of the month, you cannot own any homes in here that you don't live in. So what am I supposed to do here? Could I fight them? Maybe. But I don't like to put my energy towards negative things and fighting stuff like that. So I sold them. But I was very fortunate because I bought them right. I rented them right, which allowed me to sell them right. I made money there. But what if that was my big business plan? I lost control. So it's just not my favorite thing. That's why I stick with a mobile home with the dirt, the home and land together. These are still going to be really good ROI or return on investment. These are still going to be recession resistant. But I get to own the dirt. I get to make the rules. One of my favorite things here, besides that I get to make the rules, a really good ROI, is they're kind of this forgotten asset class. So we got people know about and are attracted to the cheap, just 10 boxes that all you own is that. And then the big mobile home parks. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But this forgotten little area, there's no competition. Less competition means there's more for us. And then we can buy them at better returns and more of them without tons and tons of marketing and tons of work. Now, people always question me on financing. They said, well, you can't get financing on. Financing is tricky if you don't understand it. And I'm going to go over that in a few minutes. Let's quickly talk about mobile home parks. There's 2 main ways to run a mobile home park. You can own everything, all the homes, the dirt, absolutely everything. You own a flat apartment complex. Or you can own just the dirt and everyone owns their own home and they pay you every month to park it there. So a big parking lot. and you can own a combination of the two. Some things I don't particularly like about parks, the reason they're not really in my vision anymore to own one, is there's just a lot more government regulation. I know in some municipalities around me, if you have a well, you have to have inspections every month. Septic systems have to have inspections. Fire departments there every year. And one area, they actually inspect the homes every month. And then Pete Fortunato, that guy I mentioned at the beginning, he talks about how multifamily, they want services, and single family, they want privacy. There's no right or wrong here. I just relate better to privacy, so I gravitate to single family. If I wanted to do service, have lots of services, I would maybe gravitate a little bit more to a multifamily. So it's a way to help you kind of pick what you want. Now, another reason the parks are not my favorite is the big ones. Let's say 100 units plus. The hedge funds are in that space. They've been in that space for a few years now. And some of my friends that are in that space, the bigger ones, they've told me there's no money left in owning those. There's only syndication fees. So if that's your direction, just know you're going to have a lot more competition. Let's get back to the home and land together, what I really love talking about. Here's some examples of a few of the homes we have. And you can see the middle, we have the beautiful yellow vintage countertops that I think if you wait long enough, they come back in style. But the purpose of this picture is I have found that mobile home owners don't typically update their homes as fast. They go by the motto, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's fine. We just have to understand then what's underneath. So this home right here had shag carpet. So for anyone that's my age or younger, shag carpet is this like really long haired carpet that even had a carpet rake that you would rake it and it would stand up nice and pretty. Well, I know in the 1960s and 70s, if it has the original shag carpet in there, it also has the original subfloors. The original subfloors are particle board. And if you've ever dealt with particle board, you know, as soon as you get it wet, you'll fall through. It's essentially glued together sawdust. So this home in particular, floors all felt real sturdy. But I knew I had the original floors in there. So now I need a budget to replace all the subfloors. It's not a big deal to do it all, but I need to know, I need that in the budget because tenants are probably going to be a little sloppier with water getting on the floor. Now, if I was dealing with the 1980s, something built in the 80s, I need to look at the plumbing because it had this gray PEX plumbing. And it's not the gray tubing, it's the joints on it. It's not if it's going to fail, it's when. There was a class action lawsuit against them. They're going to fail. So if I'm looking in the home, I see any gray plumbing. All right, I need a budget to replumb the whole thing. Not a big deal. I just have to know what to look for to make sure I put it in the budget. Mobile homes aren't difficult to work on. They're just a little different. Now, I keep saying these are recession resistant. They're great ROI, return on investment, and recession resistant. Why do I keep saying recession resistant? Well, when we have another recession, some people say we're already in one. When we have two household income, they're making maybe a few extra $100 a month, and one of them loses their job. What's going to happen? They're going to have to come down and pay a little bit less for rent. So they're going to go somewhere else. Well, that keeps happening until they get to the affordable housing space. And that is where most mobile homes are, the affordable housing space. So we have more demand. We did not make any more supply. In theory, we can actually raise our rents in a recession. I'm not counting on raising rents. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But what I am counting on is I will have a larger pool of applicants to get someone to move in my property that's going to take good care of it, that's going to pay rent on time. I'm not going to go without having a tenant. I'm not going to have vacancies, meaning I'm going to be able to pay my bills all through the next recession. Meaning I'm not going to repeat that cycle of not paying my bills, the bankruptcy, the short sale, because I'm never going to compromise my integrity again. So I'm stopping that cycle from ever happening again for me. I am not asking you to sell all your properties and buy mobile homes. That's what I did, but I'm not asking you that. I am asking you to consider adding a few to your portfolio so that your business is recession resistant. I want you to make it through the next recession. So let's talk about finding homes. Where should we buy? One of my mentors, Lenny Simador, says, when you buy your home, you buy your tenant. What he means is if you buy a good home in a good area, you will probably get a good tenant. And the exact opposite is true. If you buy a bad home in a bad area, you're probably going to get a bad tenant. I don't care who you decide you want to deal with. I decided I want to deal with a blue collar handyman, handywoman. That's just who I have found over the years that I get along with the best, who treat my properties the best, and who pays the best. So what I do is I do everything to attract that one type of person, a blue collar handyman, handywoman. I have created them to be my avatar resident. So I call my tenants residents. So everything I do, where I buy, I have to think through, where do they actually want to live? How do they want the home to look like? What do they want? So that's what I do, everything. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole because I teach an entire day class on that. It's a different topic. But think of your, as a landlord, marketing for your ideal tenant. I don't think enough landlords think in the marketing hat. So let's move on though, because I know who you think lives in my properties. You think it's this family, where the little one comes with his own tall boy natty light. It's not trailer trash that live in my properties. The movies like to make fun, the different songs and everything. They love to make these jokes. It's fun and all, but that's not who lives at my properties. This is who lives in my properties. Blue collar, handyman, handywomen. They take pride in their home. Whenever I drive by a month later, it's not uncommon that they planted plants, they decorated, and they've made it their home that they take pride in to live in a very long time, hopefully the rest of their life. So I don't want you to think only trailer trash. You can find that person if you want that person, but that's not who I look to attract and who I want living my properties. So now we know who we're looking to attract. We know where we want to buy. So let's do some marketing. How do we do this marketing? Well, we do it the same way everyone does. We do some letters. Maybe we do signs on the side of the road. We can do some Google AdWords, some Facebook, look on the MLS. We can do some postcards. Maybe we go door knocking. It all works. If you do one little trick, there's one tiny trick you have to do. You have to get rid of the word house and add the word mobile home. You have to tell people what you actually want to buy. That's the trick. That's the golden trick for buying mobile homes, is to use the term mobile home instead of house on all your marketing. If you're going to do marketing, you got to do at least 6 months. Whichever one of these you choose, at least 6 months. That's how you know how well it works or how well it doesn't work. Now, how do I find most of my deals? I do it through networking. I would go to a local meeting just like this one, and I talk to realtors. I tell everyone what I do. So when I go to my local real estate club, I always say, I buy mobile homes. At the end of the meeting, someone comes up to me and they're like, why would you buy mobile homes? Those are terrible. They go down in value. You only have trailer trash. They're just terrible things. So you're right. Send me all your leads. And they do. And I pay them when I can buy something. I always pay people because if I pay you, who are you going to come talk to again? Me. And I want to buy. So letting all the other investors know what I do. Actually, I let everyone know. Investors are not. Now, realtors. Realtors want to help people. And realtors get paid by the price of the home, a percentage of it. Well, mobile homes typically have one less zero on the price. So they're going to do the same amount of work for less money. Doesn't sound very attractive. So I became an information source to realtors. Told them what I do. Ever need any help with mobile homes, just give me a call and I'll help you out however I can. And they do. And then every once in a while, they just call and say, I'm really busy right now. Sally really needs to sell her mobile home. Can you just help her out? Of course I can. I always try to keep the realtor in a deal. Again, they did some work. They deserve to get paid. And if they get paid, they want to come talk to me again. Now, I'm not sure how many people in this group are licensed. I'm assuming a decent amount of them, but I am not licensed. And I have still gone to continuing education for the realtors. The reason I do that is because those are the successful realtors that are doing a lot of business, or they would not be spending their time and money going to more classes. Well, I like to go to the people that are really doing business. So I go there and I market myself there. I love education, so I love learning what they're teaching. But that's another way to connect with the higher performer, we'll say, realtors in the area. All right, so we've done some marketing. What are we going to do next? We're going to keep marketing. Everywhere I go, I'm branding. I have my shirt on, telling people what I'm doing. So today I'm wearing my education shirt. You can see in a lot of these pictures, I'm wearing my marketing shirt, letting everyone know what I do. The other day, one of my friends, Steve, he asked me, he's like, don't you ever get tired of marketing? So what are you talking about? So you're always wearing your shirt. You're always posting on Facebook. I told him, no. I love what I do. And I love my brand. Like, it's my personality. So you can tell by these pictures, I like a little bit of attention, or I wouldn't be wearing a neon shirt all the time and crazy Christmas jackets and riding a massive rocking horse. I like attention, which fits my personality, which is why my brand is bright and shiny. I've seen other people do different color hair, different hats, gold chains, belt buckles, shoes, all different crazy stuff. It's got to fit your personality. Now, introverts are going to say, this is not for me. I don't want this much attention. It's too much. And that's perfectly fine. Don't do it. Maybe you have a different slogan that's memorable and it works for you. Maybe you love cats. You actually have to like cats to use them as your marketing. And cats are still one of the most searched things on the internet. I've seen some brilliant videos that outperform everything within real estate utilizing cats. The guy actually owns cats and loves them. Another friend I have, a different Steven, he was commercial broker of the year a few years ago. We started talking about how he did it. He's an introvert, he's quieter. And we realized he brings his dog everywhere he goes. His dog built a lot of rapport for him and did a lot of the business that he didn't even realize. So you got to find what fits you and your personality. You can see at the bottom here, I'll introduce you to a few people on the screen. There's a guy, kind of blondish, spiky hair right in the front. That's the motorcycle guy. That's Charlie. He's the one that parked the motorcycle in the living room because it was too cold. And then the little one that I'm holding up in like the Lion King Simba pose, that's Charlie's son, Parker. And he does have a custom onesie on that says, my parent's friend's wife buys mobile homes. See, I have fun with my marketing. I spent like an hour writing all that out, like way harder than I expected it to be. And then the young lady in the middle holding the book standing next to me, that is my second grade teacher, Miss West. And I actually go to yoga with her. So I told her I'm writing a book. I would love for you to come to my book launch. And all right, so let's move on. The next thing is I like to go swimming. It's Florida. We can do that most of the year. But I don't like wearing a shirt when I go swimming. I like to be different. I like to be marketing. So what did I do? Made a Speedo. And if you like it or not, you're going to remember me because of this one picture, this one slide. So if you can make your marketing fit your personality and be memorable, it's going to cost you less time and less money. That's what I did with this picture right here. Less time, less money, and you remember me. So as long as you're finished staring at my booty, we will go on. Before I put everything together into a case study, I want to go over some key items that you need to look for. Larry, are you done with this picture? Shake your head yes or no. You're done? Okay. All right, so let's talk about underneath the home. We have our tie downs and piers. One of the first things we have to look at is, let me see if I can get, all right, I can't get the mouse moving, but you can see right in the middle of the screen, we have this big beam that's going right in the middle. It's an I beam. It's literally shaped like an eye. There's two of them that run underneath the home, and you can kind of think of that as like your trailer portion. It holds all the home. The axles would get attached to that. The tongue would get attached to that. That's what holds the structure underneath. And you can see it sits right on those concrete blocks. Those are our piers. Those are going to work just like a wood frame home. They take all the weight and it sits on them. The next is that metal strap that you see. It literally wraps around the I-beam and it gets anchored into the ground. That's what keeps our wobbly blocks from blowing over. So why do we care about these? Well, if we are going to fix and flip them, you need to know what your code is. Every state and sometimes every county has a different code of how far apart these can be. So you need to figure out what that is. You have to do a little bit of homework here. Can't give you all the answers. Now, if you're going to just buy it and rent it, the reason here, let me back up a little. The reason you need that for a fix and flip are the bank and insurance. They're going to require that. But if you're going to keep it as a rental and not use a bank, like we're going to talk about in a little bit, in that case, you don't need to bring them up to code. You still want to get underneath there and make sure the pier is actually standing up straight. It's not crooked. There's not water running underneath it. It's about to fall over. That the metal strap is there. It hasn't rusted away. It hasn't snapped. We want to make sure it's still a safe home. So next, when we go inside, we're going to look through and we're going to find this HUD data plate. This started June 15, 1976. That's a good date to write down. June 15th, 1976. That is the year that the federal government basically said, we need to have a standard on these things. We need to upgrade the quality. I don't think they upgraded the quality too much right away. They did get rid of the aluminum wiring. Today, they have the same building materials as any home. But I joke around pre-76, they were made out of toothpicks. They were not very good quality. But what does this HUD data label really tell us? It tells us the manufacturer, where it was built, the wind zone rating, the VIN. Where can it be found? Master bedroom closet, the breaker box. Sometimes they put it right in the back of that. And then underneath the kitchen and the cabinets there. Those are the three most common places I find it. What I like to do, if I have this, it's not a must, but if I have it, I like to take the VIN off of there and I like to match it up with my title. So in most states, the mobile homes are governed under the DMV. There are a few states that didn't have enough government agencies like California, and they created a whole nother government agency to govern the mobile homes. But most of us are lucky, and it's just the DMV. Now, if you're buying a single wide, you're going to get one title. If you're buying a double wide, you're going to get two. And then you would guess if you buy a triple wide, which I never have, but you would get a third one. There is one difference in these two titles on a double wide if they are meant to be married together. And that difference is that the VIN is going to have one character that's going to change. You're going to have an A and a B. That's how you know those two sides are meant to be married together. But what happens if the numbers are totally different VINs? Can we buy it? Should we buy it? I have. We all know someone that's gotten divorced, then remarried, and they're happy. So why can't a mobile home do that? What you want to do if you're in that situation is make sure that you're checking the electrical system a little bit closer. Those two sides were not meant to be together. Check the roof closer. The roof wasn't meant to be seen together. In my case, I had a roof over, which I always like. So I wasn't very concerned there because I had a roof that was meant to be all built together. So you just want to look into those things. Hope you're learning something, taking good notes. Next, let's talk about financing. This is always a big topic. Answer these questions to yourself. If you think that Chase Bank is going to finance this beautiful 1962 that comes with most of its siding, the answer is no, for sure. What about a local community bank? We all know they're better. Or a credit union? No. No bank is going to touch this. That magic date of June 15th, 1976, that is the date that community banks and credit unions have told me they will finance back to that. Some of them will. If that is your model to either buy with that or to fix and flip to someone that's going to buy with that, please go in and sit down with your banker and ask them for a printout or everything required. They're going to make sure that those straps and tie downs are up to code. The skirting is going to be there. And they might have their own little rules that they want. I've seen too many people buy without doing this research and then later finding out they have to do another $5,000 or $10,000 of rehab, or it's just not possible at all. And then their business model kind of got stuck there. And then they got tarnished by mobile homes. So do this research ahead. So I don't use banks, so let's put banks aside. How else can we buy this? We could use cash. I know a lot of investors don't like using their own cash. I'm not scared to use my own cash. But eventually cash runs out, especially when we're in like mega growth phase. We're buying and rehabbing and cash runs out at some point. So let's put cash aside. What else can we do to buy this? Well, we could use owner financing. Owner financing is a very powerful tool. Very powerful. I have found out, though, that mobile home owners are not brand new to owner financing. They know that banks can't finance these older ones. And a lot of owners bought with owner financing. So like I said, it's not this brand new topic to them. So I have not gotten a lot of pushback, meaning like just go to a bank. I used to get that when I was in the single family space. With mobile homes, they don't say that. Now, sometimes it just doesn't fit for their scenario. But let's look at this one in particular. I decided to go out and talk to Paul, that's the seller, with one goal. I learned something in a seminar I was at, a new owner financing tactic of some different language. And my goal was to go and practice that, nothing else. Because I could fully achieve that goal. I can't convince Paul to sell it to me. I can do my best. I can use different tactics, but I just cannot have full control of that. But I have full control of practicing a new technique. And that's what I went to do. And then Paul said yes. So it worked. I think part of the secret there, in hindsight, is I was a little bit calmer because I knew I was going to succeed. And that shined through. There's a few other key pieces to it I'll touch on in a minute. But I want to talk about the terms. What terms did I get on this? Well, I had to put $1,000 down and pay $100 a month until paid. And you're probably judging a book by its cover because the inside is not nearly as bad as the outside. Had to put about $13,000 in it. So we'll say I have about $15,000 in it in total. And I rented it for $700 a month. Those are good enough numbers to consider investing in mobile homes. Paul actually sold me two the exact same way. Numbers were very similar on the rehab. You may be asking yourself, well, who would ever do that? Why would someone sell like that? They must have no idea what they're doing. When I brought the agreements to the title company, they knew him by name. He was a seasoned investor. But he was also in his 70s. He was a guy that went and did all the work himself. And he started a cafe that he was getting to at 4 a.m. to cook because he loved cooking. He found he really liked that. It was his passion. So he didn't have time for this. I went there and asked the question, why would you sell a nice property like this? Sometimes you have to change the words a tiny bit. And then we built rapport. We just talked. It wasn't all about the home. I asked him questions. We hung out. And that is why he sold it to me. I later found out that he had other people trying to bully him into certain prices and didn't care about him or why he was selling or the work he had put into this already. Because it doesn't look like he put work into it, but he had. He had put work into it, and we can't discredit that, even if it needs a ton more work. He even gave me a hug. He was so happy to sell it to me for $1,000 down and $100 a month. We got to learn owner financing because the banks are already stiffening up, and in a full recession, they may not be financing at all. If you want the edge on people to be able to buy something like this, well, you need something besides the bank anyways. So what can we do besides owner financing? Because that does not work for everyone's scenario. Well, we can do private money. Now, private money is a big topic. I talk about this for hours in my classes because I have many different strategies I've used with this. I've left closings with a check large enough for me to pay for the whole home. Well, that actually would happen at the closing, but for me to pay for all the rehab and get a check. So I have $0 in it, made a little bit of money, and my private money is still making, in that scenario, a double-digit return. That's not always the scenario, but that's a huge win-win because mobile homes can produce such a good income. You could do stuff like that. There's lots of different strategies. But one of my favorite reasons that I use private money is because I'm dealing with a human being. When I have to write a check out or I click the buttons online and I'm sending that money to Chase or Citibank, Bank of America, even if it's a mortgage, it feels like a bill. But when I'm writing that check or clicking the buttons and it's going to Brian, well, I know what Brian's using the money for. I know that I'm helping Brian retire sooner because I know his retirement plan and I know that my money is going towards that. That makes me feel a little bit better. Or maybe Kevin, well, Kevin's kids, because I'm helping them save for their college fund. That just feels a little bit better. So I like to deal with human beings. So I'd like you to consider helping your friends make money while you make money. I'm going to say it again. I'll probably say it again later, that these two pieces are extremely important to learn. Because now that banks are tightening, if we're in a recession, when we get to the recession, you have to have these to be able to make it through, to be able to continue buying, continue funding your properties. So let's move on to the next topic. Now, you might think there's no mobile homes in your area. All I did is, I don't know, about an hour ago, right before this call, I just pulled up Zillow. I pulled up your area and I put mobile homes recently sold. That means on record here, you missed out on all these opportunities. There's not thousands and tens of thousands of them, but you don't need that many. If you bought a handful of them and rented them out. So they're there. I want you to consider looking for them now, because we don't always see them if we're not looking for them. I get the pushback all the time. Oh, there's no mobile homes in my area. There are, you just haven't been looking for them. So now that you've been through this, I want you to just keep your eye out. So let's talk about Cragmont. We're going to put it all together now. It's a case study here. So how did I find Cragmont? Well, believe it or not, it was through networking, because that's how I find my deals. I was at a non-real estate meeting. It was a business meeting, referral meeting. And I said, I need someone to do a mobile notary. A lady stood up and said, here. She wrote down a phone number and it said Rachel. So I called Rachel up, and Rachel has since done multiple mobile notary signings for me. And every time Rachel's like, Adrian, don't forget, I'm a realtor. If you ever need help, I'm here for you. I always say, great, Rachel. Don't forget, I buy mobile homes. If I can ever help you or any of your clients, let me know. So Rachel brought me this property. How did Rachel find this property? Well, Rachel's always telling everyone, I'm a realtor. If there's anyone I can ever help. She put that on Facebook more than once, more than twice. She does it enough, not annoying, but she puts it on there. And a high school friend connected her with the seller of this home. So we both had networking involved, finding each other, and she found the seller that way. So consider letting people know what you do. What are the problems that we solved? We can obviously see it's overgrown, so they're not taking care of it real well. You can probably see the blue tarp there, but it's a little difficult to see. There's a second tarp that's a brown tarp. So it has two tarps on it. It's also in probate, and they want to move now because they need some money right now. So they got a stack of problems. So what did Rachel do when she found all this out? She said, look, we can list it, MLS, we can get some people in here. Some of them are going to want to move right now and you're not ready because probate's not done. Or what we can do is I can bring some investors in that are experienced with a home like this. We can see what price they'll give. And if you like it, we'll take it. If not, we'll go through the MLS. Well, obviously, he liked my price because I bought it. Then we had to do, we had to pay for it. So I used some of my money and some private money to pay for this one. Rehab. The obvious here, what I didn't mention is we also had to do the 2 showers. We had to redo them and then a few other things inside the home. We put it for rent. It's the worst time of year, just before Christmas. And we put it for rent for $16.10 a month. And it rented just before Christmas because there's enough demand for good homes and good areas that people want to live in. So let's put all these numbers together. Let's look at them. Paid $83,500 for this property. At this time, this is the most I had ever paid for a property by double. but I wasn't concerned or worried because I had a proven process that I've been through. So I had a trusted system. Next, we had to put a little bit more money in it. Closing costs, repairs. So we have 105,600. That's the total dollars in this property. And then we borrowed some money. We borrowed $70,000. So here are the basic numbers. Let's move on and see. Let's dig a little deeper. How much money do I actually have in it of my money? Well, I have 35,600 of Adrian's dollars. Could I have less dollars in it? Yes, I could have. I could have offered and asked my private money lender if he would lend more, and he would have in this situation. But I didn't, because where I'm at today, I'm building a conservative business. I know I use the word conservative with mobile homes, but conservative business, I think it's conservative. And I want more dollars coming in, so I'm willing to put more dollars out, if that makes sense. When I was in a mega growth phase, I would have borrowed more money because cash was a little more strapped. So it just depends on what phase you're in of how much money maybe you want to borrow or leverage it. So how much money am I getting a month? Well, I'm getting $795 net a month. Obviously, these, your rents are going to change everywhere, but the ratios are not. 795 net after all my taxes, fees, and everything. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $800 that every single month I get to take and put in my pocket and spend wherever I want. That's my money. That's pretty good per door. I don't know very many people in this market getting that. You might want to consider some mobile homes. But what is that really making me? How much in a percentage? Let's talk some percentages now, because dollars are great. I think dollars are very important of how much we're getting in, but a percentage return is also important. So this is making a 26% cash on cash return. Is that good? Well, the stock market over a long period is making 8% on average. We know it's not doing that this year, but I'm making a 26%. Higher return we can make, the faster we can get to our goals, and then we can have more time doing whatever we want to do. Friends, family, traveling, enjoying life. Higher rate of return allows us to get there quicker. The icing on the cake with this property is I have equity. I have a lot of equity. So I bought it right. I'm renting it right. And if I wanted to sell it, I could sell it right. Simple 3 steps. Buy it right, rent it right, and if you sell it right. So what does all this mean? Let's go with a quick recap of this slide. $795 a month and 26% cash on cash. How much can you get in your pocket every single month to live off of? And if you can do that at a higher rate of return, you can get to your end goals faster. And all of this means that mobile homes rock. They allow you to be where you want, when you want, with who you want. And I call that lifestyle freedom. I'll tell you a little secret that I'm not just selling you on this mobile homes investments. It's really something much more important. I'm selling you on the time freedom that mobile homes allow and give you. I believe that's much more important than the mobile homes themselves. So I hope you've learned a lot tonight. It's time to take action, though. You can learn all this, but if you don't take action, it doesn't do you a lot of good. So I will tell you, every time I take action, I do it the wiser approach because I learned from my previous action. So here's a few of my favorite quotes when it comes to taking action. The price of inaction is far greater than the cost of making a mistake. If you are not taking action, you're not going to get any closer to your goals. Every successful person I have studied, they take action, and every once in a while they stumble and they fall forward and get up and do it again. And eventually they fall forward again and they get up and they keep going. Where you are a year from now is a reflection of the choices you make today. If you want, you can close your eyes, stop taking notes though. And I want to tell you a little story. Let's go forward 1 year from now. And the meeting's over. You check your phone and you have a missed text message from one of your good friends, and you read it and it says, I know it's last minute, but could you go to lunch tomorrow? It's my birthday. And you're able to say yes because you've created time freedom. And the whole day might cost you $100. Bought some food, a few drinks. You can budget that relatively quick. But budgeting the time freedom to be able to drop what you're doing the next day and go, you got to work on that today to be able to get that in the future. And if you bought a few mobile homes and maybe you had dropped down to part-time work or completely quit work, or you're doing a few less rehabs, that's what's going to allow you to have that time freedom to say yes to your friend. Now, I will tell you from my experience, it was worth a lot more than $100 to be able to be there with my friend Morgan. My friend Morgan, I know it meant more than $100 for her. I want you to consider that you can have that too. It's a feeling that's worth way more than money. Let's move on to the last quote. Your faith proves your actions prove your faith. One of my coaches, Ken Holmes. What he is saying is, if you are not taking action, you don't believe it's possible for yourself. And I will just tell you, you're wrong. If I can do it, so can you. That old saying is very true. I mentioned earlier, I wrote a book. Well, I was in remedial classes all through school. And then last year, I found out I'm dyslexic. So if a dyslexic guy can write a book, you can buy some mobile homes. Borrow my faith in you. If you need to borrow your friend's faith, someone that believes in you, because I'm telling you, if I can do it, so can you. That's all the education I have for the evening. I told you I would have a way that you can get even more. So let's talk about that real quick. Cashing in on mobile homes. The very first thing we're going to do in this class, it's a 2-day class in October, is we are going to bust all your myths. We've done a little bit of that tonight, but we have to get rid of all these bad stigmas you may have about mobile homes to install all the new great information. You're going to leave no longer fearing the 1960s and 70s. You are going to understand easy financing strategies without banks. We went into a little bit of that tonight, but that is a pretty large topic. And you've got to know that to have an edge on everyone else. And then insuring mobile homes and so much more. I'm essentially going to take my 20 years of experience and wrap it up into these 2 days. This class is for people that want to be with their friends and family more often, spending more time, more freedom. I've talked a lot about that tonight. The other half of the class is for flipping. I'm going to be doing the rental, and Mark Bracey, my really good friend Mark Bracey, he's going to be talking about fix and flipping. He is the best person I have ever met when it comes to mobile homes and fix and flipping. One of the reasons is he started out as a contractor, physically out there working on them. And then eventually he became the investor that hires the contractor to work on them. So he knows this business from both sides. And he runs a very successful business now that he's done over 130 fix and flip mobile homes in his time. So in October, when you come and meet him, he's going to teach you the A to Z and fix and flipping. And by the way, he's not like most fix and flippers. He doesn't work 60, 70, 80 hours a week like a lot of the guys do that they're in the business doing it. This guy travels a lot. His business is still successful. And he spends not only quality time, but quantity time with his beautiful daughters because he built the business with that in mind. We're going to walk through the properties. We're going to go through all the repairs, the calculations from all that. We're going to give you the contracts, the documents. We're going to give you all of that. People love Mark's scope of work. It's an Excel document. It's easy to use. It's easy for the contractor to use. It's easy for us to use, add to it, subtract to it. He's going to walk through all of that. And then most importantly, you're going to leave with the confidence to take action. Just like Marquise did. Marquise came to class. He's taken action since, but really he took action in class by networking. I encourage everyone in class to network. And now he's done deals with people he met in class. That's a whole nother piece to coming to classes. You get to network with people in the same industry. And that's what Marquise has been doing since. On October 8th and 9th, I welcome you to come down to sunny, warm Tampa, Florida, or stay in your cozy home on Zoom. And these 2 days are information packed. It's not a sales pitch to some bigger class. We're not going to say, oh, you don't get that until you come pay this bigger class. This is 2 days of the information that Mark and I actually do every day in our businesses. And then when you sign up, you're also going to get a 100% money back guarantee. That is how much I believe in what I teach. I want you to be like Andrew. Oh, sorry. No, I have this right here, the $18,000. How did I forget this? Before I understood mobile homes, going back way before that, I got a lead on one. I didn't really know what to do with it. I gave it to one of my friends. He was a broker, an investor, but he had pulled a lot of comps for me. I said, here you go. This is a thank you. He said, are you sure? And yeah, I said, yeah. My friend Gavin bought it and within a few weeks resold it and almost doubled his money. He made $18,000. Because I did not understand this information, I left $18,000 on the table. If you get these leads anyways, or eventually you will get one, don't leave money on the table. Pricing is right now still the early bird pricing. It's $797 for yourself. You can bring a friend, spouse, business partner for only $397. If you look at some of the deals I just ran through, if you just listen to us of what we're teaching, you should be able to make this money back fairly quickly with just doing a few deals. And then you have that knowledge forever to continue doing it over and over and over again. But I want to give you a special offer for being here. Dan brought me here. So you're going to bring your business partner, spouse, friend for free. Both of you get the ticket for $797. And I don't want you to have to wait to start learning. So I'm going to give you both a copy of my book. I'll mail it out to you and I'll even sign it for you. So that's a $1,200 savings. All three of them, your ticket, your business partner's ticket, my book, How to Buy Mobile Homes, all of them for only $797. And this is where I get to talk about Andrew. So Andrew came out in the class. His girlfriend had convinced him to come. He really wasn't into this mobile home thing. He wasn't into real estate at all, but he's supportive. And he flew out from California, came to class. I'll tell you that now Andrew is not only a mobile home investor, but he's gone to other real estate classes. So I like to say that Andrew drank our Kool-Aid and now he's one of us and a happy investor. The first 5 people, well, that's really just everyone that's on the call. We don't have a lot of people here, but I'll do this for if 5 people from the group come on, because I love Dan and we had to play with some dates. I'll do it past tonight. But
Does
first
this work
5
for me
people.
too? What if I had sign
No,
up?
not you, Dan. You're already signed up. You signed up without this one.
That's true.
No, wait, I'm gonna give you a fast track call. It's a lot of information. I don't want you to leave the book on the shelf. I don't want you to leave all the information in the back of your head. I want to jump on the phone and get you with a plan to take action with all of this, because I don't want you to just leave it in the background. Take action, make money, better your life. So I'll actually do it for anyone within this group. I'm going to give you a special promo code for it, but anyone in this group, I'll be able to track it. I'll give you this fast track call. So we'll put it all together. You get a ticket to the class, cashing in on mobile homes. You, your business, sorry, and your business partner, your friend, your spouse. Both of you get how to buy mobile homes, a copy of my book. You get the fast track call with me. That's over $2,000 value. And all of that is only $797. All of it's only $797. 2 tickets, 2 books, and the fast track call with me. I want to thank you for trusting me with your education. And I have one more slide actually. If the $797 does not work for you, there is a payment option. So it can be one payment of $797 or 3 payments of $299. So if you want it broken up in payments between now and October, and you get to use the coupon code Dan, you can scan this QR code or go to lifestyle-rei, and you have to like Dan by putting the coupon code Dan in, because Dan's the one that brought me here tonight. So I want to thank you. I don't know if you have any questions, Larry. We'll let you go before Dan.
No, I don't. You laid it out pretty well. I'll be honest
Cool.
with you. A lot of this I already knew.
Awesome.
But just because my backgrounds, I'm a licensed builder, and in my early days, I actually used to work at a mobile home factory. So
Awesome.
I built the beast.
Well, Dan, let me ask you that.
Back in
Well, why don't you own
it
any mobile
was
homes?
back in the 80s. Why don't I?
Yeah.
It was my first home, actually. It was my first home was a mobile home, but
Right now,
yeah, I
it's
never
rentals.
really never really looked into that into that market that much. But
Okay.
I mean, I've inspected a lot of them.
Cool.
Well,
So
Yeah,
make sure you
I
call
was
the
I
rest
do
of
see
the
go ahead.
We got
I was
some major
curious
delay
how
here.
much it would be different. I was curious how much of Adrian's like tie downs, is that a big thing in Wisconsin and Michigan too? That was one question I had, is that
It
I
is.
didn't know about tie downs or much about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely for if you're buying for financing, yeah, they're definitely going to ask that question.
So Larry, you're an important person for the group because you can inspect them and help the people out in the group that, I'm going to tell them everything they need to look for and teach them. But sometimes people still want to get an inspection. I got inspections on my first few, and now I just do my own inspection, but I learn from the inspector,
Right.
look at the report, learn from all that, because we always want a little bit more help. Not everyone, but so you can be a very important person in the group to help everyone out with professional inspections until they're professionals themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's the mobile homes, once you know them, it's not like you said, some people are just scared of the word, but once you understand how they're built, how they operate, they are fairly straightforward, and just knowing what to look for. There's only so much can go wrong with them. I like your comment about the particle board. Yeah, definitely. And we saw a lot of that back in the day. I remember putting that stuff down and carpeting over it with shag carpet.
That's funny.
On that home, the handyman I was using, he threw away the carpet rake. I was like, how could you just throw that away? That's an antique. I could go, I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I just thought it was silly to throw
Right.
that away.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
now
great.
people wouldn't even know what it was for.
Looking back now, I wish I would have like done some videos with it, and because it would have been fun to throw in there a video of me raking the carpet inside that home.
You gotta throw some after photos on that project one that you showed here with the tarps on the roof, what it looked like afterwards.
Oh, I it's a little smaller, but there is one there. Actually, you can go to. I just wrote up a. I'll send it to Dan. I don't remember the exact link, but I have a link of an interview with Rachel. Her and I just did an interview talking about that entire deal. You have to excuse
You
the
can send it
video
out with the
quality.
report.
Yeah, I have the recording that. You have to excuse the video. I'm way better at buying mobile homes than I am at producing videos because I'm cut out of most of the video. But the audio is what's important anyways. And I didn't want to go back and try to recreate it because we had such a good discussion and we just let it naturally flow. I was afraid that if I tried to recreate that, it wouldn't have worked real well. But Dan, remind me, I'll send you that link because I just did that for an article in a local group that I wrote an article for on that property.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Also, do I have one more? Yeah. If you want to connect with me, Adrian S360.com. That's this link. QR codes. I'm starting to use a lot more QR codes because people are liking them, trying to be young and hip. But this site,
Right.
it gives you all my contact information. You can save my contact information in there, and you can find out about my book, anything. It's all links there, so it's an easier site to get a hold of stuff. And if I could ever help you, let me know.
Certainly will. Yeah, it's intriguing, and I know we've there are mobile homes out there. We've inspected just a couple within the last couple of weeks here.
Cool.
So yeah, they're out. Most of them are out in the country, but there's your property with the dirt.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, sir. Well, consider them. Especially. I'm not sure how much you can say, but if you're out there inspecting, you can tell one's going to fail. You might want to tell the person, hey, if it falls through, I might be a buyer. I know what you have with the job, but it's a possibility. You can always go back to them and say, I can help you out.
Right.
We're here to solve problems. As investors, we're solving problems, and if it failed the inspection or they just backed out because they were scared of the repairs it needed, and you're comfortable with it. So
yeah, and I've seen that happen a couple of times. Not necessarily on mobile homes, but even on other properties where yeah, there might have been some plumbing issues or a little bit of structural issues or something like that, but it wasn't anything that would necessarily scare me, but as somebody who's not familiar with it, yeah, oh my gosh, I don't know what they have to do. I gotta hire somebody. And
I've bought many properties by giving a backup offer. Just say, hey, here's an offer. I hope you get more money out of it, but I'm always here. And I've had them call me back and say people wouldn't give me what I thought, or it failed at closing and all these different reasons, and then I'm here to help if I can.
Yeah, or maybe that buyer just ticked them off. And I said, you know what? After that, I'm not going to sell to you. I don't care what you offer. And I've seen that happen too. You're just not the person I want to sell my house to.
Yeah.
So, like I said, just building that rapport makes a difference too. It's finding out more about them, and why do you want to? Why are you selling? And be interested in their position where they're at in life.
Yes.
Because a lot of times there's more to it than just selling that property.
Totally agree. I like you, Larry.
Interesting. I think we need to keep in touch a little bit more, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, and every once in a while I go visit Dan. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll be up in there. I'm actually going to be in Madison, which I know is not close, but it's in the state.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have time to go visit Dan this time.
When are you going?
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll touch base with Dan more too. I officially have not joined the group. I got to pay my dues yet, but I was just introduced last month. So it looks like an interesting group of people, and it's always good to associate with like-minded people. And
Yes,
you
sir.
can help them out. They can help you out. Hey, everybody gets benefit from it.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, my business is built off of it, and I love helping.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dan. I can see you're texting through because your voice was barely coming through. I assume you're wrapping up.
Yeah,
the meeting.
it's not working too well.
Well, I appreciate you having me,
Yep.
Dan. And Larry, thank you for being here, asking questions, adding value to the night.
Yep.
And like I said, if I can ever help, Adrian S360.com has all my info, and we'll talk then. Have a good night.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Yep, you too.